Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Coaster-net Update. We've been gone a while, Danny. We've both been very busy.
Yes.
We actually have a lot of news to keep up with here. A lot of big stories came out over the last few weeks, and we are going to hit them one by one here over the next few updates here. So don't bitch about it being late. If you want to go get other news, go somewhere else.
We've had important stuff going on, Andy. I mean, you've got the play at school. We've both been decking our houses out for Halloween and trick or treat. You can actually, I just noticed you can see my little step ladder is over there over my shoulder, leaning against the railing because I was taking stuff down from unreachable places because I'm short. So I've been carting that around my house all day. So that's why that's back there. And you've had snow already. I've had snow already. There's more snow coming tonight here and out there by you.
Yes.
It's the second week of November, Andy. We haven't even begun to think about turkey yet, and it's snowing.
Snowing already. So, but we are in full coaster bloom here. We got a whole bunch of rides topping off. Candemonium one at Hershey Park, but the one we're going to talk about tonight, Danny, is one Orion at Kings Island. Kigamania is running wild here, Danny. Is it a hyper? Is it a giga? Who cares?
Now Kigamania. Now, if previous rumors would have come to fruition, wouldn't it have been Kagamania?
It would have been Kagamania, but Kagamania got cut off early.
Right.
So toss that one right out. So it is officially Kigamania. It is the Kings Island Kiga Coaster.
So why is it Kigamania and not Kigamania?
I don't know.
I guess so. It sounds closer to Kaga, and we can make fun of that.
I don't know. So this came about where at the Great American Bash this summer at Great America for the Patreon group. We're sitting there joking about how tall the Orion's going to be. If it's 287 feet, is it really a giga? The big debate this summer, is it a giga? Is it a hyper?
Ryan Bass, it is not a giga.
It is not a giga.
Isn't that ironic? Because that's where that first came from. It's like, yep, it's a giga. That's where that first came from. And then Banshee wasn't a giga at all, and now the giga isn't even a giga.
Yeah. So Kiga, people started saying this all over the place, and then I came up with being at the Great American Bash, of course.
Right.
We had to have Kigamania running wild. So as a joke, I just said this, and they're like, "Oh, that would be a really cool T-shirt." And everyone loves the Hulk Hogan T-shirts. So we printed them. Why not, right? And we actually sold them to the Patreons. There, if you want one, there are about 10 left right now on COASTER-net.com in our store. So if you want one, there's only 10 left. So you're going to have to work pretty quickly here to get one. But Orion officially topped off. But Danny, it dawned on me that may not be the news story. We never had you discuss your thoughts because you were gallivanting around the European continent when Orion was announced. So we never really got your thoughts on Orion.
It was about 4 a.m. at the Hotel Coliseo at Europa Park where I was when Orion was announced. So I simply woke up and read some news on it while we were eating breakfast prior to our day at Europa Park. But you and I never got together and actually did a show with the two of us. You and Jeff talked about it at the announcement. So, and as I'll kind of say that I've already given my thoughts because in a way I sort of have, right? When we first saw the blueprints and whatnot, and we knew where all the tops of the hills and the valleys were, and we did that analyzing of the blueprint layout that we had seen, I had mentioned that there was a YouTube video out there, in my opinion, were 98% accurate to what the real layouts were going to be. And the end game there is that they were almost to a T exactly what the layout is. So I expressed some opinions there. To me, it's kind of, I make more comparisons to the Leviathan than to Fury 325. I think it's a little closer to that in terms of length and in terms of the number of elements that you're going to have in it. In a way, it's sort of a mix of Leviathan and Fury in terms of the elements that you have. You sort of have this overbank turn, which after the first drop, which Fury kind of has in the later parts of the layout before the airtime section, but it's not really an overbank turn. The bank turn. You've got a big hill. You've got a second big hill. You've got a speed hill in there. That's sort of the reverse of the Leviathan speed hill, which starts out straight and turns on the other end. This starts out with a turn and then flattens out and then goes into the big hill after that. It has a sort of a version of the Fury Helix, but it's higher up. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's tighter. And it almost has the Fury treble clef in reverse, which is kind of interesting. So that could be an interesting element there. Overall, it's going to be a great ride. I mean, I'm speaking here like it's nothing, right? And I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. That's like, oh, it's just another Giga Coaster. Well, historically, if you look at what people think of the Giga Coasters, historically they're pretty good rides. They're some of the best in the world. So I think this is going to fall right in line with that. I don't think it'll be better than Fury 325. It might be better than Leviathan. I would say it probably should be, given the amount of hype that has come around it. Will it be better than Millennium Force? Maybe. Will it be better than Leviathan? Maybe. I'm not sure. Will it be?
I personally think it'll be better than I-305, but I'm not an I-305 fan either.
Well, and I'm a bigger I-305 fan than you are, so I don't know if I expect this ride to be better than I-305. If it is, great. Then it's right there, top 10 type of ride for me. Even if it's not, if it's in that same class as Millennium Force, Leviathan, which are a little bit lower for me, still top 20, that's a fantastic ride. That's a ride that I'm going to go next year and ride it. That's still one of the best steel coasters in the world, in my opinion. If you're talking about, top 5% of rides.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, after the Europe trip, I've been up over 600 steel coasters now. Top 20 out of 600 is still, top few percent. I mean, you have to think about that realistically, right? I know you're laughing at me now.
Well, yeah, because I made a rule on Patreon one day. I made a new rule.
I know you did.
Danny
you told
Miller.
Me about this.
The new rule is, okay, you're a real jerk, and I used other language here. Don't be fooled. I used definitely other language. You're a real jerk if you give your credit count to another enthusiast. Credit counts, I believe, are for the GP to impress them. Oh, look at how many coasters he's been on.
And I agree with you, but I agree with you there. But I'm trying to make a point here. I'm going to use math here. I know you're not a math teacher.
No.
But so okay. 600 roller coasters, top 20, that's top 3%, roughly, with rounding, right? Roughly. Yeah. So if you were to take that top 3% and transfer that to someone who's been on 150 coasters, that's top 4, top 5. So that's realistically what you're talking about here. Because sometimes you and I will be talking back and forth to be like, oh, that ride I have ranked like number 20, and it's like, oh, you have it that low? Well, sometimes we forget how many rides the two of us have been on when we're talking with one another. So for us, a top 20 ride is very, very good. A top 20 ride for someone like Rob Dole, who's only been on 15 rides.
Poor Rob Dole. He's still got Pipe Scream in his top 10.
I know, right? So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, when we sit here and say, oh, well, if it's a top 15, top 20 ride, that may not sound exciting for some people, but for me, that's great. I would love for it to be such a ride. So overall, I'm excited for it. I don't think it's going to be, best ride in the world. I don't think we're talking Steel Vengeance type thing here. I don't. Do I think it will be the best ride in that park? Steel coasters, I think it probably should be. Absolutely. I don't know if it'll be better than Mystic Timbers. I like Mystic Timbers an awful lot. Best steel coaster in the park, it definitely should be. I have that expectation on it for sure. But I don't know if I expect it to be better than Mystic Timbers. I really, really love that ride. top 10 wood coaster for me all the way, and me being the wood coaster guy, I might just like that better than Orion. So I don't know. We'll see. But certainly a ride that I'm excited for, and I think a lot of people really enjoy it, even though they're not talking so much nice stuff about it right now on the internet. I think when push comes to shove and the ride opens up in April, people are going to love it.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is a lot of people are looking at the pictures of it being topped off. There's some pictures from, the street, and they're like, oh, it doesn't even look that big. But the problem is the perspective that you're at. Yeah, Diamondback's a little bit closer, so it's going to look bigger. Plus, you got the Eiffel Tower that is 300 feet. You got Windseeker that is 300 feet plus.
Objects in photos may be larger than they appear, folks.
Yeah, seriously here. In this case, like the perspective of this, I don't think you're going to get, because even when I was looking at the pictures, I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that big. But I think when you get closer to it, when you finally get up next to it, I think that's when you're really going to get the sense that it is 200. And like you said, we were talking earlier on the pre-show, this is 50 feet taller than Fury, too, at some point. That it is only 287 feet tall. It's got a 300-foot drop, so it's still...
Yeah, but there's probably going to be a noticeable height difference with it being, Fury is 325 and this is 287. So I mean, you're getting close. You're roughly 40 feet shorter. So that's not a small number.
Yeah. So we will see when Orion opens up. And at the beginning of, usually at the end of April, the Kings Island tends to open up. So we will see what they're going to do for pass holder night and what special events they're going to have, fundraisers and such. And we'll be rocking our Kaiga Mania shirts there for sure. So as always, I am Andrew Barczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
And Danny Miller from Binghamton, New York.
Right on, Ride Warriors.
See you next time, guys. Thanks.